Hello IELTS candidates. In today's video, we are going to teach you how to answer the MCQ questions of the reading module. Since both the academic and general students have to face the same category in the reading test, you should follow the same method to answer the question, even if you are an academic student or if you are a general student. So this video will be useful for every candidate appearing for the IELTS exam. Welcome to my IELTS stream. These are the steps that you need to follow for answering MCQ questions. We will not start by reading the passage first. We will first read the questions. So read the question and find the keywords. So read the question and understand what is the question mainly talking about. Now, students sometimes don't know what do we mean by keywords. So keywords are the main topic of the question, what the question is asking about. Scan the passage to find the keywords or the synonyms of the keywords. So scanning is a method that you follow in order to look for a specific word in the passage. So that's called scanning. So you will quickly read through the passage and you will look for the keywords that you saw in the question and you will locate the answer. Now read all the options and see which one matches the most with the text. You are supposed to read all the options properly. Do not miss out any option. Do not miss out reading any word of any option and understand what the options are saying. And then select the one that matches the most with whatever information is given in the passage. Sounds quite straight enough. 1, 2, and 3 steps are there. But you do need to have knowledge of vocabulary, synonyms, and they might actually twist the language a little, and that is why a lot of students find this difficult. So follow this method and practice a lot, and hopefully you will be on your way to a good reading score. So in today's video, we are going to solve the Academic Cambridge 13 textbook Reading Passage 3 MCQs questions. So don't worry general candidates, because you just have to follow the exact same methods to answer your MCQ questions. Now this is the beginning of the passage, so we are going to skip down to the MCQ section because that is the first step. We are going to first read the instructions, then read the first question. Choose the correct letter A, B, or C, or D. Write the correct letter in boxes 27 to 31 on your answer sheet. Never miss out on reading the instructions because you might actually be a little bit distracted while doing this, and the instructions help you concentrate. Now, question 27. What is the writer suggesting about computer-produced works in the first paragraph? So the keywords here are computer-produced work, or works in this case, and first paragraph. Now you would be very lucky if you would get a question that is exactly giving you where the answer is. Like in this question it says that the first paragraph very specifically. So what you're supposed to do now is that because we have seen the keywords computer produced work and first paragraph, we will directly go on to the first paragraph and try to see what is the writer trying to say about computer produced work in the first paragraph. So now we will read the paragraph and we will try to find the keywords. The painting full is one of a growing number of computer programs which, so their makers claim, possess creative talents. Classical music by an artificial composer has had audiences enraptured and even tricked them into believing a human was behind the score. Artworks painted by a robot have sold for thousands of dollars and been hung in prestigious galleries, and software has been built which creates art that could not have been imagined by the programmer. So we should try to get an idea of what is the writer suggesting. So I can say that the writer is only talking about positives relating to computer programs here. This is the keyword we found. So this is a synonym of the keyword that is given in the question. So overall I can say that the writer is just talking positives. So let me go back and see the options that the question is giving me. So people's acceptance of them can vary considerably. A. B. A great deal of progress has already been attained in this field. C. They have had more success in some artistic genres than in others. D. The advances are not as significant as the public believes them to be. Now, what I'm supposed to do is now I can go by the method of elimination, where I see which option is not actually the answer and just strike it off. Or else, if I am understanding the paragraph, the first paragraph, and actually what the writer is saying, it might be possible that I can directly choose the answer without actually considering the others, because I'm very sure about it. So it depends on how well you have understood and how confident you are about what you have understood. But now, for teaching's sake, I'm going to go through every single option and tell you why it might be the correct answer or why it might be the wrong answer. So people's acceptance of them can vary considerably. So let's see. People's acceptance. Now, does the paragraph say anything about people's acceptance? A growing number of computer programs possess creative talents, classical music, artificial audiences enraptured. That means, yeah, audience is happy, tricked them into believing a human was behind the score. Okay, against positive from the audience. Sold for thousands of dollars, hung in prestigious galleries. So again, the audience is happy. Creates art that could not have been imagined by the programmer. So throughout the paragraph, the audience is happy. So I don't really see that the writer is trying to suggest what this option is saying, which is people's acceptance can vary considerably. No, the writer has not mentioned any such thing. So this is the wrong answer. A great deal of progress has already been attained in this field. Yes, now that I have read the paragraph twice, I can say that the writer seems pretty happy with this field, and he is trying to list out the achievements of this field. So this could be the answer. Now, number C, they have had more success in some artistic genres than in others. Let me go back and see. Possess creative talents, classical music. Okay, so this is one genre that it is talking about. Audiences enraptured. Painted by a robot, sold for thousands of dollars, hung in prestigious galleries. Creates art that could not have been imagined by the programmer. So no, the writer only mentions about one particular genre, which is classical music in this case. And does the option actually say that they have had more success in some genres than in others? So there is no such comparison shown in this particular paragraph. So because there's just mention of one genre, and the paragraph does not say that this is more successful than others. So no, C is not the option. The advances are not as significant as the public believes them to be. Not as significant as the public believes them to be. Classical, artificial composer audiences enraptured, tricked them into believing. So it does say that it tricked them into believing a human was behind the score. But it doesn't say that it's not as good. It's not actually as good as that of a human composition. So no. That is also not the answer. Let us read the option again. The advances are not as significant as the public believes them to be. No. The writer only said that the public believed the advances are really good because they were tricked into... the writer says that the public was tricked into believing that it was made by a human. The music was so good. But did the writer say that it's not actually as good? No. That is not what the writer said. So the answer for the first question is B. That is your answer. Option B. Now, this is how we solve the first question. Let us move on to the second, which is number 28. According to Gary and Wiggins, why are many people worried by computer art? So now this is another good question, because it is specifically talking about one person, Geraint Wiggins. So this will be our keyword. Why are many people worried about computer art? So we have to answer this question, why? And the question is about people being worried about computer art. So these are our keywords. So Geraint Wiggins thinks that a lot of people are worried by computer art, okay, not about, but worried by computer art, and the question wants the reason. Why does he think that a lot of people are worried by computer art? Now, one good thing about the MCQ category is that most of the time, you will have answers in the passage just as the sequence of the question goes. So if 27 was the first paragraph, so the next question most probably will be right after that. Not always, but most of the time. So let us try and find the keyword Geraint Wiggins first. Human beings are the only species to perform sophisticated creative acts regularly. If we can break this process down into computer code, where does that leave human creativity? This is a question at the very core of humanity, says Geraint Wiggins. Okay, so we found him. A computational creativity researcher at Goldsmiths University of London. It scares a lot of people, so we are around that part. So in the question there was worried, and there's a synonym here, scare. They are worried, okay, worried is also here, that it is taking something special away from what it means to be human. So here is our answer. It is taking something special away from what it means to be human. Now that is that's not giving us specifically like a solid word for an answer, but let us see what the options say. Okay. So it is aesthetically inferior to human art. So I do not need to go back and read the whole passage, read the whole paragraph, because the answer was in one specific sentence and we located it very well. So aesthetically inferior to human art, no, the answer didn't say that. It may ultimately supersede human art. Let us think about that. It undermines a fundamental human quality. It will lead to deterioration in human ability. No, there was no such mention of decrease in human ability. So the sentence does not talk about deterioration in any human ability. So options A and D are out. Now let us look closely. Supersede human art or undermines fundamental human quality. Let us go back and read what the passage is saying. They are worried that it is taking something special away from what it means to be human. So does this sentence say that the computer art will become more important than human art, or it will become more famous, or it will supersede human art? No. So taking something special away from what it means to be human. So which option goes better with the question? Undermines a fundamental human quality. This is the answer, because what it means to be human. So we are talking about something basic when it comes to meaning, when it comes to being human. And so it undermines a fundamental human quality. So that means that it is reducing an effectiveness of the human quality. So if we go back and read, it is taking something special away from what it means to be human. So yes, this is creating the same effect, that it is undermining a fundamental human quality. So that is the answer for our second question. So this is what the method is. Read the question, find the keywords, locate the answer in the passage through looking for the keywords, scanning basically, then understand what the passage says, come back, read all the options and see which one matches the most. The next question, what is key difference between Aaron and the painting Fool? So the keywords is key difference between Aaron and painting Fool. Sorry. Okay. So these are the keywords. So let's go back to the passage and try and find the answer. Aaron and painting Fool, funny names. Okay. To some extent, we are all familiar with computerized art. The question is, where does the work of the artist stop and the creativity of the computer begin? Consider one of the oldest machine artists, Aaron. Okay, so we found him. A robot that has had paintings exhibited in London State Modern and the San Francisco Museum of Modern Art. Aaron can pick up a paintbrush and paint on canvas on its own. Impressive perhaps, but it is still little more than a tool to realize the programmer's own creative ideas. So the final sentence tells me a bit more about what is the relationship between the programmer's ideas and Aaron's ideas. So it is more than a tool to realize the programmer's own creative ideas. Yes, so it does not completely depend on the programmer, but there is an adjective here, little more. So it means that it can do better, but it cannot do a lot better without the programmer's ideas. Now, Simon Colton, the designer of the painting fool, okay, found the painting fool. Now we have to see what the passage says about it. Is keen to make sure his creation doesn't attract the same criticism. Okay, so this is the criticism that Aaron attracted. So we are going to highlight that. Unlike earlier artists such as Aaron, here we are now coming to the difference, because the word they have used is unlike. So this is another roundabout way of saying that they had a difference. The painting fool only needs minimal direction and can come up with its own concepts by going online for material. The software runs its own web searches and trawls through social media sites. So here is our possible answer, very much possible. So because they have clearly given us this signal by saying unlike earlier artists such as Aaron, so this is what the painting fool does, whereas here is what Aaron does. Now let us go and read the options. Its programmer's background, I don't know, I might have to go and check again. Public response to its work, no. The source of its subject matter, the technical standard of its output. So the source could be the answer, because we read with Aaron that it is mostly dependent on the programmer, whereas the painting fool can go online and search for content. Now let's see if they are talking about the programmer's background or technical standard of its output. So let us first look at option A. Let's go one by one. The programmer's background, let's see. Oldest machine artist, robot, paintings exhibited, San Francisco, Aaron, paintbrush, paint on canvas on his own, impressive, perhaps little more than the programmer. The designer of painting fool. Okay, so there is no information about the background of the designers or the programmers in this case. So A is not the option. Now public response to its work. Let us see. Machine artist. So okay, so it says that Aaron has work exhibited in several places, but it doesn't say anything about the audience's response. Oh yes, it does say about still a little more than a tool to realize the programmer's own creative ideas. Okay, but it doesn't say if this is what the audience was thinking. This is something that the writer is thinking, because he doesn't quote the audience here. So no. And nothing as such in the paragraph about painting fool as well. So public response to its work is not the answer. Let us look at D, the technical standard of its output. So since I've read the paragraphs twice or thrice already, I know that there is no such technical standard of its output. There's no such mention. So the source of its subject matter is the answer, because it says so very clearly, and we have read it and read it again, and we now are sure. So while solving MCQs, it is pretty common to actually read the passage again, read the paragraph again, go back, read the questions, go back, read the paragraph, because you have to be sure about your answer. So now I'm sure that the answer is the source of its subject matter, since the first case, Aaron is mostly dependent on the programmer, whereas the painting fool is able to use the internet. So I'm going to say the source of its subject matter, C, is the right answer. So that was it for today. I know that there are 2 more questions left in the same MCQ list for passage 3 from the book that we did. So what I want you to do now is I want you to solve the other 2 on your own and let me know in the comments below if you could find the answers properly and easily following the method I showed you. Now, if you like the video, then please subscribe to our channel. It helps us grow, and let us know in the comments below if there is anything in particular you want us to make a video on. I hope that you learned something new today and we have helped you with your preparation and getting closer to your dream IELTS score. All the best and take care. Thank you.